Let me start over again because recording. So Hares Sayed Bhai is a senior project manager for the District of Columbia government. Previously, he was the chief contracting officer for DC government. He is associated with various civic and professional organizations and enthusiastically participates in activities related to economic development, democratic processes and practices, especially in third world countries. He is a critical thinker and values politics as a major instrument for future progresses. Mr. Sayed often addresses this issue among the youth and encourages them to participate in the political process and uphold democracy for peaceful world. A timeline of, he has authored War, Violence, Terrorism, and Our Present World, a timeline of modern politics in 2017. And right now, he just published a book called Pamphlet, Student Loan Crisis, A Threat to America's Future. This was published on Amazon, and we will send you the link so that you can collect a copy for yourself. Mr. Hares Sayed has traveled extensively to understand the public perceptions of the countries involved in ongoing crisis. Mr. Sayed served in various categories in different organizations, including the president of the Central Executive Committee of AABEA. He currently resides in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. With that, I like to welcome Mr. Hares Sayed to give his talk.
Thank you very much. Let me start. Good afternoon, dear participants and hosts of this webinar, AABEA Washington, D.C. chapter. Thank you. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to stand before you. Today, I am before you to raise a significant concern of the nation is facing. This issue is related to the future of our younger generations, the future of the nation, as the future of the nation depends on the future health of their future generation. Health does not necessarily mean physical health per se, but the well-being of their future. The subject of my presentation is the student debt of young Americans. Among many sensitive issues in America, the matter of student loan is the most crucial one. It is not a case of Democrats or Republicans, nor blacks or whites, as they are in the same basket. As Dr. Rahman told that I recently published my second book called Pamphlet, Student Loan Crisis, A Threat to America's Future. As you can see, the main title of the book is Pamphlet. As a pamphlet means a political slogan, and this book meant this very fact. In this book, as I am presenting to this respectable audience, to connect between dots of our social indicators. In other words, I am analyzing it from a wider perspective. And we'll try to show how this one issue is impacting this society now and what will be the dreadful consequences should we fail to address it properly and address it now. My only hope is this audience will think about this issue and be ambassadors within the sphere of their own networks. I strongly believe it is our social obligation to stand for good causes as a token of service of our great nation, a country we love and live in, the United States of America. Before I start, let me appreciate those who provided support with their kind feedbacks in accomplishing this task. AABEA had undertaken many such initiatives before, and there were a lot of friends and colleagues who stood shoulder to shoulder. Today, I respectfully mention some of our friends and colleagues who are no longer with us, who are always involved with the community and, and the nation. Bilal Rukanuddin, Professor Aruzullah K.M. Mushir Rahman, who left this world for the eternal peace, heaven, and left this organization in our hand. Thank you very much. This is my opening statement. Today, we have many issues in USA nowadays. Some of them are student debt, Occupy Wall Street, Million Student March, March for Lives, gun violence, Black Lives Matter, and environmental issues. What happens, what we have seen, that when some struggle starts, after sometimes it go out from the media. Once it go out of media, it go out of our mind, and it remains as a status.
One second. So, Haris bhai, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Okay, go to the next slide. Did you miss anything?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So why student loan is an issue? About 60% of the students who are pursuing their post-secondary education depend on student loans. Total student loan debt is now $1.7 trillion, which is second to the mortgage loan. We have 45 million debtors. And default, forbearance, and all other things, it includes about 11 million. Out of that, 3.9 million already dropped out of the colleges without getting any degree. But still, they have to pay for their debt service. As you can see, how it is connected with the other thing. Other thing is connected with the cost of getting a degree and what is the return on investment. What is the status of the wages? What is the status of the home ownership as one of the most critical equity for the middle class American? What is their net worth and future net worth? And the mental health, as you can see, I believe that many of you have seen in the news media how the mental health is a big crisis here, especially among the loan borrowers. It might cause a social unrest. It is not unlikely that it will cause a social unrest if it is not addressed properly. Next slide, please. You can see the status of the student loan. 2006, January 1, our student loan was $0.6 trillion, $600 billion was the total debt. And now, you see in January 2019, it exceeded 1.6. Now it is about $1.7 trillion. It is an amazing thing that, and nobody basically think about this issue and not doing anything. Although there were some discussion on these things, various things happened, and the wages did not appreciate as the debt payment. Due to the stagnation of earnings, home ownership is going down. The future net worth of whole Americans, except for 10% top, are going down, and especially among the younger generation, they are suffering. So these are the issues are going on. Next slide, please. See the rising trend of tuition and fees in the United States schools. It is US News 2018, they published it. If you see 1998, the private for-profit colleges, their tuition and fees were about $18,000. And in 2019, it came to 43.5. And look at the state colleges, and in-state and out-of-state students, since it is also rising at the same proportion, but not at the same time, but the same proportion. And go to the next slide, please. This is the CPI, which is Consumer Price Index. Usually, country's economy and finance is depending on how they will, policymakers will develop their plan based on the CPI index, which is the cost of a basket of products in the market, and it is related with all other expenses. You can see the red line, which is going up. This is the student college tuitions rise, and here is the CPI. If you see the distance of difference between the CPI, that in the last 3 decades, the cost of the schools of getting a degree yearly, it is increased by 1,000%. In comparison, medical expenses have jumped 286%, and CPI has jumped 121%. So this is a big issue. Go to the next slide. I'll show you the difference. See the difference of the US inflation in 2098 dollar of Q1. See how it is going. College tuition is here, the rate of increase, and our CPI is here, last at the bottom of the thing. Everything are going up, but the college tuition and fees, it has no bar. It is going up and up. Next slide, please. Factors which cause this tuition high. You know, as many of you are associated directly with the students as you are teaching at the universities, we have a couple of factors. One is the administrative cost. Senior management in the universities, their salaries and benefits are rising significantly. In other things, they have student support group. Support services includes, you know, processing the application, sending the grades, developing the schedules for exams and all other things. It increased by 28% between 2000, year 2000. From 1993 to 2000, the number of administrative positions jumped by 60%. Instructional program is another cost, which the teachers, you are getting the salaries. It is a big thing. That is the main purpose of the educational institution. And from 1929 to 1930, if you look at that academic year, our total educational outlay was $378 million. And instructional cost was 59%. And in 2016 and 17 academic year, instruction program was 26% to 32%, 26% for non-profit schools, and 28% for the public institutions, and 32% for the non-profit is 32, 26 is the for-profit, and 28 in the public things. Another thing is facilities and amenities. What is happening to attract students? Many of the universities, they are investing big money to build the big facilities. They don't care about the quality of the education. I will come to that slide later to compare how it is happening, what is it is happening. And you can imagine in this country, especially in Eastern Shore, we have, it is a cold weather seasonal, and how much utility cost, and in the Western is how much also, it is also Western coast because of the heat. The utility cost is going significantly high, and we have massive facilities. So who pays for that? They are doing this thing. The intention was to get more money from their alumni so that they give endowment. And another is the athletic program. But question is that majority of the universities, their endowment did not increase more than $3 million, except for some universities, say for example, Harvard, they have 45 billion in their coffer. And other is administrative cost, senior management. Look at this. It is given for senior management of USCD, SD. It was San Diego University. It's one of the universities, and it most likely majority of the cases are the same. From 1993 to 2004. Look at the increase of the student body, and look at the increase of the salary and benefit of these senior managers in private institutions. Next slide, please. How they spend the money. It's a very important issue, how they spend the money. They are raising the tuition fee every year. It is going unprecedentedly high. Look at this. I have put these things, 2 years college institutions and 4 years colleges. Look at the public. 28% they spend on the instruction program. 16% they pay on the research. 15% they pay for the health and hospital services. 10% they are put for auxiliary expenses. 22% it is the academic support, student support, all these non-instructional staffs there. And look at the private universities, for profit. 26% they spend for the instructional program. And they have no other thing except you look at these 65% of the money they spend for this academic support. What is that academic support? Nobody knows. So these are the things. That is why a couple of administration, including George Bush and also President Obama, tried to address these issues, but did not go anywhere. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. Look at this, the instructional cost. Instructional cost between the fiscal year 10, 11, and 16 and 17. Look, the very small rise. Sometimes it is even lower in the educational institutions, how much they are spending on the instructional cost. For public for-profit, the private for-profit, it was 3,500. Now they pay 4,500. It's per FTE student. And FTE described here as the full-time who attend the colleges, and also 2 courses minimum they take. And in the what is called for other thing, for private non-profit, they are spending a little bit more, and public it is still not approaching. It is only very, say, about $800 they increased in 5 years period. So it is so low, because instructional program, it is one of the major things that how you are preparing your student, how they will face the world, how will they go to and work for the nation. And these are majority of the cases, since the professors, tenured professors' salary are high, a lot of colleges, they cannot attract good academicians, except for few. And what they do, whenever they have a tenured professor, they are reducing the number of tenured professors, increasing the part-time, what is called adjunct professorship. And they are also paid very low, so they usually cover the cost, their profit margin, by employing more adjunct professors, and the tenure tracks are going down, number going down in every university in the United States. Next slide, please. Another cause of the cost is that we have funding cut. After the Great Recession in 2008-9, the funding cut, you can see, I have shown it here in this graphical mode, the funding cut of all the states. We overcame now we are again back to the recession. We overcame the recession, but that fund never came back to the schools from the states because the couple of reasons. One is the obligatory service the state must provide, for example, Medicaid and low-cost housing and other things. They are suffering from that, so they cannot put more money, except for 4 states, which is California. They put little more money. It is in 2008 graph, and Washington, Wyoming, and North Dakota, they gave more money in that. Otherwise, all are in red, which they paid before in 2008. After 2008, all went to the red. That means funding cut significant. As a result, the universities are charging those costs, which they used to get as subsidy from the state, to the students, and students must pay the difference. Next slide, please. Another biggest thing is that our easy money. Easy money, they are getting easy money. Colleges are getting easy money, so they are fine. They are getting more enrollment and they are making more money. So they are raising the student loan increasing. How it happens? This student loan thing, you know, it is not new. It started in 1944 by GI Bill. You know all about when they initiated the STEM education so that America can compete for the future generation. And that guaranteed student loan program in 1965. Then they created a loan guarantor, which was by the pressure of the private college associations. Government, they worked with the government and they made the laws that, you know, they will give the loan, but they need a guarantor, that government give the guarantee that if student does not pay, if they default, government pays. So it increased significantly the loan amount, total debt amount. And from 1977, when inflation was double digit, what they did, they put everything, as the college did not get money from the states, from the federal government. So what they did, they sent the money as put everything on the shoulder of the student. Then there are some times that the lenders were very not optimistic to how they will make money. So they were trying to work hard, and Higher Education Authorization Act, Reauthorization of SALIME, creation 1972, that totally provide the cushion to all the financial companies, that, you know, they will get the money back from the government. So they started to increase the loan, and in the private college association, they worked very hard. They put a lot of money and they did wonderfully. The Stafford loan 1992-93, that is unsubsidized. Previously, parental restrictions, income restriction was a factor that was eliminated, and it flourished, that student loan. They are advertising, getting the students, does not matter whether they will be successful or not. Let them get in, let them get the loan, let them start college. If they drop out, no matter. I will show that fact in the future slides. Okay, see, 1971 to 2003, enrollment doubled, came to 19.5 million students. Because 1992, what is the parental income restriction was eliminated. Between 1998 2008, new private colleges rose by 50%. The number of colleges, private colleges rose, including a lot of, you know, that a lot of colleges were defaulted, but they took a lot of money. Enrollment went down. Now, question is that this slide shows one of the very wonderful things. This is the time to degree debt accumulation. We said that 50,000, 20,000, or 40,000 per year tuition fee. it is not the only thing. How many years it takes to get a degree? That is one of the major things, so that how much debt you accumulated before you graduate. If you look at that, 60% of the American college goers get their bachelor degree in 6 years, not 4 years anymore. It is based on the Department of Education Statistics. And look how they are doing. 54% of the students enrolled in the private educational institutions of higher learning, they dropped out from the colleges. Either they could not afford to pay, or the subject they were taught are not creating any job. But those students, although dropped out, is now 3.9 million, they have to pay back their tuition debt, because there is no way you can get out of that loan via bankruptcy. It has been restricted by the Congress. Why? Why restriction came? Is it the Congress did? No, because the private institutions, they were looking into one factor. If the students, they offload their loan through bankruptcy, federal government will ask why they are doing that. We are losing money. We are not going to pay for those universities. That is why they said, okay, put the restriction, they have to pay, so that that question does not come. And see that how, okay. Can you a little bit go back there again on that slide, sir? Okay. And look at other factors, that when you are entering a university, you like to finish that there. But only about 22% in the private for-profit college, 22% they completed their degree in the same college. Others either transferred or dropped out or did not complete but still enrolled. This is the thing. 27% 2 years public, and 22% the 4-year private colleges, 2 years public and 4 years private, 4-year private non-profit and 4 years public. 54% of the students who entered in the public colleges 4 years, they got 54% of them, they graduated from the same institution. And in the public, for profit, only 22%. Next slide. Next slide, please. Now, I was looking into that, how others are doing. What about the status of European countries? So when I was looking into the educational system of the European countries, there is an organization called OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. About 50 plus countries are the members of that. They usually publish all their statistics, how they are doing. If you look at that, what is called, I cannot see, it's a little bit smaller. Can I increase the size? Okay, see the Mexico student per year loan, and you go to France, go to Hungary, go to Austria and all other things, and go to the United States. United States educational cost is significantly higher than any other countries. But one thing is sure, when I prepared the graph, I took the maximum amount of cost to get a tuition and fees for country basis. But some has varies. Say for example, France, their academic year, their tuition and fees is $215 to $700 per academic year only. But I took it $700. That is why. And Hungary $766, Austria, Mexico, Luxembourg, and all other things, and Portugal $1,124 to $1,800. So I took $1,800, taking it that. Again, I also was looking for how their cost is so low. We found that it is cost is low. This is basically free education. Majority of the public schools there, the universities there, they do not collect the tuition and fees from the students on the small amount. Even they give you the loan. That loan, this is the loan thing. That loan is coming for your, see, you live in one city, then you go to enroll in university other than in your city. So you need to live there. So they take the money for their living expenses. And 70% of that loan, they are free of cost. They are forgiven. Only 30% they pay. 30% of that small amount even they pay. And in United States, nothing like that. In United States, low cost poor students who could not afford to pay, we have the program so that they can attend the college, get a better future. But when this reauthorization act happened in USA, everything is going under loan. Okay, take the loan and study and pay back. That is the problem. And if you see how we are we falling behind in the United States? We are. We are really falling behind because as you can see, the graduation rate in 1995, US was topping, 33% graduation rate from the colleges. In 2012, US 39%, being the 19th lowest graduation rate among 28 countries, according to OECD. On the other hand, Iceland, New Zealand, and Poland see their rates 60%, 57%, 53%. And in 2017 and 18, college graduation rate in USA was 46.34 and average retention only 59.7%. All are dropped out. Question comes here, when we are talking about this type of thing, that the education system and the other countries they are giving, they are preparing their students to meet the demand of the nation. That is one of the issue. That is the future health of the nation. But in our country, it is not happening. Because of the significant rate of dropped out from the colleges, in 2003, Bill Gates was giving an interview, and also it was in blog, he was in CBS. He said, US has the highest college dropout rate. We are the #1 in item of the number of people who start colleges, but we are like number 20 in terms of the number of students who finish the colleges. It is catastrophic. It is a very sad thing, as Bill Gates was telling, as it was telling. We are in terms not number 20, but 19. OECD reports also say that international assessment, they do that international assessment, how the students are doing. Americans under age 35 with a bachelor degree perform below their, I cannot see the whole for a second. It is not giving the full. I cannot see the full picture.
Below their similarly educated peers of 14 other countries on a test of practical math skills.
Right. We are now age 35 under 14 other countries, and only slightly better in high school graduates in Finland. Our college graduates education level of skills is little bit higher than the skills Finlandian high school graduates possess. That is the terrible thing. Did better in reading and performing below just 6 other countries. We are better in reading and talking skills, but again, under 6 other countries. Dropped off in ability, again, dropped off in ability solving problem. using digital technology. The digital technology you guys developed here, and we are doing below other 13 countries. What will be the future of this thing? World Bank also, what will be the future of this thing? You cannot compete in the open trade. You cannot compete if your people are not qualified, if your workforce is not qualified. What is the US government's present plan? In 2018, the human cost index, World Bank's report, every year they publish, and we are ranked 24 on this thing, which talk about education and health, how government is doing on education and health, how it will impact the future. That World Bank report, it talks about that, and we are again in level 20, how much? 24. 2071 to 2013, as I said, doubled. We have the, I gave these things, rise of the college, and we talked about private for-profit colleges, enrollment 54%, dropped out 54%. I already went through in other things. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, why we go to colleges? This is one of the significant questions. If you ask, 90% of the American will answer, oh, for a better future, earn more money. If you ask an Asian like you and me, if it is fact, they will say, oh, to get a class status, to be knowledgeable, that people respect us. But whole thing is boiling down to how your future will be tracked, how your children will be raised up. What is the cushion you are creating for them, for education, for their health care? And if you look at this graph, the money we are spending for getting a college degree and the salary we are earning, from 2000 to 2010, I gave the data. It is given by the College Board. You know, the College Board, one organization. Look at the difference. 72% growth in these 10 years on the tuition, and average earning is going down. Is it fact that average earning is going down? We know that everybody is earning more money now. I will show those other things in the future. Come to the next slide, please. Look at here. This is one of the best things. Overall adjusted average salaries in 5 years increment. Look at here, 1970, our college grads, their usual salary was in 2016 dollars was 58,650, and now 50,219. See, we are going so much, and if you take the trend of the tuition hike, it is not paying off. Go to the next. Look at here, I gave you the things. It is also from the federal governments. Look at here, the both employment rate and the salary. Did you see for the high school graduates, except for high school graduates, everyone's salary from 2000 went down. Everyone's salary. Look at this one, high school graduates, some college, associate degree, bachelor's degree, and master's degree. Everyone's salary went down, yearly salary. It is in 2017 constant dollars. Now, here is one of the fact I put together. I was going to the IRS data, as they are claiming, and all the media claiming, that college graduates who drop off, who does not possess any college graduation degree, their salary is under $30,000. And the college grads, their salary is above $50,000. So I went to the IRS tax receipt for 2017, which was given me the total data. After that, 2017, everything is in a fuzzy way because of the new tax law. And see the chart I gave, the income brackets and percentage share among this total tax receipt and total tax paid. You see about these two highlighted column, that is from 30,000 to 40,000, assuming that dropped out guy will be in this group. Although they said less than 30, 40, and here is the college grads, 50 to 75. So if you deduct these two average, you'll come that they are paying $12 billion less taxes, drop out 3.9 million people. Again, US labor statistics provided another statistics recently. They were talking that high school graduates' weekly salary is $874, and they, with a college graduate, $1,281. That means a difference which is coming, if you multiply for the year, it comes about $90 billion. That is our, what is called, $90,000 they are depriving the economy, national economy, because of the college dropout. They are paying less tax and they cannot contribute in this society because they cannot have a car, they cannot buy a good house, they cannot go to the theater, they cannot go to the restaurant because of the stagnant income. So it is contributing about $100 billion a year for the economic supply side. Next item. So now I am going to the next one, the American social class. American social class, it is, they are talking how many, nobody knows. How many in the middle class, we don't know. But I was researching and found it, they said from 25 to 66% of the Americans belongs to the middle class. All right? And upper middle class is among them is 15 to 20%.
I thought I muted everybody.
Okay, so
how do I mute again?
So upper middle class is 15 to 20%. Lower middle class is no numbers, and working class. 95% of this middle class are vulnerable on economic downfall, job growth, and wage is not appreciated as much. And 2008 recession, their earning went down by 23%. US Census Bureau, they said, American Community Survey, December 19, 2019, released the number that youngs are worried about the job and their future. Because if it goes like that, if they cannot land up with a good job, their health care and their retirement will be in the jeopardy. It is based on US Census Bureau. Pew Research Center, they also did their research and so share of Americans middle class income household dropped by 61%. It was 61% in 19, I cannot see the number here, and 50% by 2015. It was from 61, it come to I do not know why the panels are like that.
You have to maximize your screen, please.
I don't see anything to maximize it. Yeah. It is coming on my sidebar.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide.
Okay. So American social class, social comfort level, if we are talking about. See, when many of you, maybe I don't know how many, when you started your job, you had the pension plan. That pension plan is gone. How we are being the richest country on the world. Then started defined benefit. Defined benefit is that your employer pay for your one-time lump sum every year so that after when you retire, you will get some money. Now we have 401k, which is defined contribution. It was not defined benefit anymore, it is defined contribution. Sometimes they pay little money and rest of the money you need to put from your own pocket. Future retirement, what is the future retirement looks like? Future retirement time, because government mandatory services will go down. These millennials, when they will reach to the retirement age, their mandatory services, for example, social security schedule might go down. You might see that tax will be increased. I'm telling why. And you will not get any other services which government usually provide to the low income people. Why it is happening? Because we are in the deficit budget. Every year we are in the deficit. We thought that it will be $1 trillion deficit this 2020. Now it is coming $3.2 trillion deficit due to the pandemic. Government is borrowing money. Now it reached about $27 trillion. Every year, government, they are obligated to pay the debt service. From where they will pay if they do not earn revenue? Revenue is shrinking, expenditure is going up. So they will obviously go to increase the tax. And tax base, not only tax and tax base. Now, a lot of people do not pay tax, but they will go up. And they will cut your schedule. Based on the Census Bureau, that US 69% of Americans, their major income during the retirement age is social security schedule. It is not enough. That social security casual is not enough. So what they do, how they survive? They have one other thing, American dream. That means home ownership. But that home ownership, because they bought a home, they lived there, they paid, and it became free. That is the biggest equity they have. So that is the cushion for their retirement. Now, what is happening now? Happening because of stagnant economy and job. See the job, how it is going down. It is the US Bureau of Economics analysis. They provided these things. How the salary range is going down. So when your salary is low, you cannot afford to buy a house. You cannot invest there. So young Americans are suffering. Good paid job with all the benefit gone, no longer there. It will continue to go down. So people who are graduating from these schools, universities, they are not landing with the same job as they were supposed to do. They are doing something different. Go to the next slide, please. Okay. In November 2019, Bureau of Statistics release was very encouraging. That job growth exponentially high. Exponentially high. Very good thing. Job growth is very high. So one organization, they did a research all the time. They do that, and they immediately came up in December. It's called Advisor Perspective. They showed this. They put these two graphs. Look at this, and to make it more interesting, they gave the administration's name, which president was where. Look at their growth rate is going, and look at when you are coming with the yearly yearly income. So now, yes, a lot of people have job, not the full-time job. Okay, they are getting average weekly 33.5 hours a week. Their wage is higher, but they are getting 33.5 hours in a week. And in 1965, they had 38.9 hours a week. So when you apply these hours with the wage rate, you see where we are. See the right graph. What is that? They are not making more money. They are making less money. It was published in December. Next slide. American dream. That is the thing as I was talking. home equity. 75% of the middle class American, their only equity is the home. They do not go and trade. They are not on the stock market. 75. But there is a good sign. Our young generation is a little bit better, especially the ethnic group for us. They are doing better in that sense. They are going there. But majority of the Americans, they don't care about the stock. Only a few portion with the upper middle class, they do. Primary residence 2064, 69% of the American had a primary house. And 2016, it dropped to 63.7. And look at the age group. The under 35 years gap, home ownership dropped by 15% from 1992 to 2018. Dropped by 15%. So those 50% will not have any home equity because they dropped. They are dropping. Now, American wealth, accumulated wealth, look at this picture. Yes, it reached to there and went down due to the recession. And now, again, it is up, but not yet in the stage of 2000, before 2007. So the wealth is decreasing among Americans. And who is more vulnerable? The younger generation. Next slide, please. Okay. Net worth. See, unemployment rate is now, say, it was just before this pandemic was very low. Because I wrote the book before this pandemic happened. I was planning to publish in March. Then it hit. I said, okay, let me wait. And now I said, no, let me publish it. Unemployment went very low. National GDP at rise. Economy is doing really good. Our Wall Street is very vibrant. Median home price went up from 2013 to 2016, still under 2004-2007 price. But what about the net worth of young Americans? Net worth of young Americans did not appreciate. Under 35, their net worth is $11,000. The age group between 65 and 75, $224,000. And net worth 75 above, $264,000. It's a wonderful thing. Why that big gap? Yes, 75 and up age group, they vested throughout their life. Definitely their wealth will go up, their net worth will go up. But the younger generation, they did not put so many hours yet, so they will be low. But problem is coming. No, go back again, please. Go back again there, that slide here. Look at here. Net worth ratio between 75 years and under 35 group. In 1992, it was 9:4. Now, 2016, 24:1. It is a significant, that shows that the net worth of young generation is terribly messed up. Go to the next slide, sir. Here is the median, real median family net worth by percentage of net worth. Look at here where we are with the young generation and see what is in the top 10%. It says everything. I can give you some other data, say, for this slide. Home ownership, as said, it declined by 15%. In 2016, the median family net worth among the wealthiest 10% household was $2,386,500. About 23,865 times higher the net worth of the bottom 25%. These bottom 25% are usually under 35 years of age. And ratio in 92, as I said, was 1,344, and the median family net worth was down by 8.5% a year among the middle class Americans, especially under age 35. So go to the next one. Student loan debt policy and challenges. Here is one of the issues. This is the 45 million Americans. You know the strength of these Americans, the largest voting bloc. They are, doesn't matter whether they are Democrat or Republican. They are all the student loan borrowers. 45 million. If they pursue their family members, own family members, to go and stand on their side, at least if they pursue two members of their family, either parents, brothers, sisters, there will be 135 million voters. Any American president has ever bagged that type of vote, but they are not in the priority list of the US Congress. On 22nd of this month, I was addressing the same issue with the US congressional candidate in Maryland. I raised this issue, that you guys are doing two things. One of the participants asked the question, why people are going for negative vote and what the party is, Democratic Party is doing for that. Number two, I asked this question, what are you going to do? If you are not addressing these things, it might change the total political landscape. He said, yes, I will work on that. I asked them to, can you develop a congressional caucus for this? So no, we have other caucus that can take care of that. It's all right. So, but Congress, US Congress, they are not in the priorities. Why they are not in the priorities? Their main job is to serve the nation, right? And it is a national security. See, Middle Eastern oil is a national security issue to the United States. Why? Middle Eastern oil is not coming to attack America, but it's economy. The same way, the future of America. That is why it falls in that category of national security. What about my younger generation? This type of problem, is it not a national security? It is. So budget, US budget. No, go. I'm going back there, please. Yeah. So look at here, wonderful. Why it is not on the priorities? US budget for Congress, US Congress, we have yearly $1.18 billion for the House and $816 million for the city. Government pays for their staffers and other things. And lobbying group pay alone $2.6 billion. It's the difference. So a result, Congress failed to attract the sharp minds in their staffer. Lobbying group pitch in. Bills are more or less eyewash. How is eyewash? Because either our congressional staffers are not educated, do not understand, they do not have the legal knowledge when they make a bill. One of the best example that let us cut the expenditure, because you cannot run for US Congress unless you have a lot of money. I'm giving one example, a lot of money. The 22nd of this month, when I was addressing a candidate with a Congress member, he also unsuccessfully ran in 2016 for the congressional position. From the Democratic primary, he lost it. He spent $13 million his own money, he lost. Think about how much money we are spending from the election, from where this money is coming. That is why McCain-Feingold Act, which is called Bipartisan Congressional Reauthorization Act of 2022, it was done, that there is a limit how much money can come from the outside. What happened? It was a wonderful thing. We were enlightened. We are very, we enjoyed that it has come at last. But when it went to the White House, President Bush was reluctant to sign. I'm giving to him, reluctant to sign. Why he's reluctant to sign? Because it will put a damper on their receiving money from the corporate America. Then he was advised, Mr. President, go ahead and sign it, because if we are going to the court, that will be nullified. How they knew that? Because there was a caveat in the bill. Either knowingly or unknowingly, it was included there. So as a result, when it went to the Supreme Court in 2010, Citizen versus United States, Supreme Court nullified that act, stating it is a violation with the Bill of Rights, Amendment 1. And after that, Feingold lost the election. She is no longer the senator, and McCain, you know, is no longer with us now. Sorry to say that he died. So this shows that, yes, when a bill is developed, it should be considered from every aspect so that it stand the blowout from the court. I don't know how, if I interpret that First Amendment, I see that, yes, the Supreme Court elaborated this amendment, First Amendment Act, and they gave the judgment. But question is, Constitution was developed for the people of the nation, for their well-being. I believe Supreme Court went by the literary sense. They did not consider the main cause of the Constitution, that it was developed for the people. Anyway, go to the next slide, please. How money is working. This is a terrible thing. See, US Congress, both House and Senate, election cycle from 2000 to 2018. Look at this, how top spenders are getting their seats. 88% now, 2018. 88.8% of the House seats went to the top spender. 82.9% Senate seat went to the top spender. Amazingly, I was looking into the media. What is the status of the US Senate candidate for the next election? Where I was looking, searching the engine, I found 10 Senate's vulnerable seats. And you know what is the media is writing? Vulnerable means that the person who has more money, he will win, not the incumbent. That is, money talks here, not the candidates. We do not look for who is a good man, who will good service. We go and vote. And we who have more money, they reach out to there. And after the Supreme Court nullified the McCain-Feingold Act, major provision of that, we came out with a lot of things. Super PAC. Super PAC was not there. Other PAC was there, but not Super PAC. Even we have now 501c, another thing, another group came out that they can contribute and their name will not be announced. So money is pouring in. As a result, you see the top spenders getting everything. Go to the next slide. See that provision, Amendment 1, that says, and the portion says, the Senate will not do anything, Congress will not do anything that will abrogate the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. I took it out from the Constitution. And that portion was used to strike down the McCain-Feingold amendment. Look at the election census of the US from 1998 to 2008. Total cost. Say the congressional race, spending, total cost, presidential race. 2016, we spent 2.38 total billion. 12, 2.6 billion. Only this time it was a little bit low. What was found in the analysis that, you know, the House and Senate, the top spender get it, but White House does not always follow that trend. For example, 2016, it came to President Trump, but Hillary Clinton spent much more money than that, but she didn't win. Except for the
White House, the big spending is with the Congress, both houses. You spend more money, you will win. Okay, next slide, please. This data is from the Federal Election Commission. That data, this money spending, because Federal Election Commission is only reporting that amount of money which was reported to them by law. But there are other groups who do not report to them. It is not there. That was not included. Now, voting records. 60% of the voters who vote, I'm talking about in the USA, just blindly go by party line. I am Democrat, I'm emotionally charged. Big money always, before the election, throw some piece of meat. And we start fighting on that and get emotionally charged and vote. We never check one thing, the credentials of and the performance record of our elected bodies. We do not ask. So why we do not ask that? Because we do not go to them. We never go to them. We never force them to act on behalf of us, and to make a bill. When a bill is prepared and placed, it takes long time to get enacted. And if any bill which is for the benefit of the people is enacted, if the government wants, they can be enacted, president can allocate less money, so that will not be working. If the president is from the opposition, he might do that, and it is happening year and year again, that some bill has been approved, but it is not functioning. Because why? Money was not allocated to implement that. So voter turnout is going really down. And in 1996 presidential election, the people, young generation did not vote. 3 out of 10 young Americans voted. Look at here, the voting data. This is the young American group, under 35. 35, right? No, 28. This was given that young American can vote. There was a big wave of requests that young American college students can vote from 18 years. It was given, but they are not voting. Why they are not voting? Go to the next slide, please. They are not voting. See also here, midterm election is low and the presidential election is higher. Only in, I can see there was in 52% voted in 1992 election total. But the youngs, this is the youngs vote. And all time they are going down. Last year, 2016, we saw 46% voting. Next slide, please. So, student loan, big problem. So, President Bush, in his first term, he enacted a commission to look into that. And they came out with saying that they recommended a major overhaul, tuition and accreditation of colleges. They found that many of the colleges are not accredited. So they need to do the accreditation. And accreditation is another wonderful thing. You know, it is that these universities is accredited, this is not. Because those companies who do the accreditation, they are paid by the university. So you are paying me to do a consulting for you, whether you are accredited to give you the accreditation or not. You will not give me money if I put you in the bad basket. So I take your money, I better work for you. So it is, but still, accreditation is a big thing. They said, okay, do that. And people at these private colleges are so mad that president was obligated to change his Secretary of State, Secretary of Education, gone. Now, coming 1993, 2009, the positions of administrative positions coming 60%, and 10-fold than the tenured professor. And Obama era, Obama was also trying to address this issue. As you know, a lot of discussions were there, everybody needs, he told, I still remember, It is our money, federal money. Why third party will take the benefit? That was his thing. So he started do that. He came out with two things. One is Gainful Employment Act. Gainful Employment Act is that you need to show that graduate from your school are getting proper job and salary, and you need to report it. You have to report it. He was mad. He did not like to pay money to the private institutions, failing colleges. And also, since the salary is low, pay as you go. This thing was doing that. But the punishing this sort, it was very problematic. Immediately thereafter, private college associations, they raised big money and they were working on that. You know how many, what is called the meeting they got with the White House? This private college association got 12 meetings with the White House. And student loan supporting group got only one. And at last what happened? The law was enacted, but much more relaxed way. So that not immediately after 3 years, you will do that, otherwise you will not get the money. And what happened? This administration, present administration, they nullified that. They struck out because it was the administrative, what is called executive order. So they nullified it. And they said, no, Obama administration, what did? The boss told, it is not right, it is not fair. So we need to address everything fairly. And there are some jobs, you know, when you get some police department and school teachers, if you do the job for several years, your loan will be taken out. You will not pay. But there is another caveat that you have to pay your taxes on those money savings. So you have $50,000 loan, you paid 10,000, so 40,000 will be gone. So, but you have to pay the tax on that 40,000. It was your gain. And so, but this again, there is another thing that when you are relieving from your debt, the document should be signed by the Department of Education. And our present secretary was not doing that. So day before yesterday, or 21st, court sided with the group. No, you cannot do that. You have to sign this document. They did not. So it is gone. So now what is the solution? While I was addressing this thing with the congressional candidates and House candidates on 22nd, the House delegate member who came, he was enthusiastic. He was, it's a wonderful thing, Mr. Sayed. We will do that. We will go for student forgiveness. Money, there is money. We are not talking about money. They are telling that there is no money. If there is a way, we find. But question is that when you go for loan forgiveness, the question various group will stand. The rich people, why they should pay, why they should be forgiven. You will never come up with the solution. Because why you will not come up with the solution? You need to come up with a very intelligent plan so that it can be addressed. You will not come out because private college will never want that loan forgiveness one. As soon as loan forgiveness will be enacted, people will come. Why private college who are not generating any good graduates? Why we are national citizen will take care from their tax care money? So that question will come. They will work against that. No. 10 years free loan, pay tax. You need to come up with the thing that major thing is the tuition hike. You need to bring it down. By subsidy or something, you need to bring it down, the tuition and cost, because see the Europe, we are failing. Our future is dark because Europe will take over us unless we do not cut the tuition and fees. Unless we cut on tuition fee, if you forgive the loan, student loan, debt will still increase because of the high tuition and fees. Right? So you need to come up with a solution that will address this. Okay? College cost adjust, gainful employment must be enacted, and it should be reported every year. You are getting money, federal money, for every student you enroll, and you are creating a garbage who will not get a job. You cannot do that. You need to report how many students you enroll, how many graduated, what is their job status. It should be reported. That is gainful employment. All colleges should be accredited, as Bush was trying to do. And who can help? This type of thing, who can help? This is 45 million students. They are the largest voting bloc in the United States. They are purple. Purple means not Democrat and Republican. And these 45 million, if they pursue their own family, 2 more persons, they can change the landscape of American politics. Believe it, money will not work. Because this, the Obama has done one good thing. He popularized the $5 chip-in by the voters. And these $5 guys who pay $5 for a candidate, they vote for him. They vote for him. And the big companies who are paying millions, they don't vote. They do not have vote. What they do, they put more money because each constituency is big. Congressmen that cannot meet with them. So they go for media advertisement, and it needs money. So everybody likes to be elected or re-elected. And our US Congress is for a member of the representative for 2 years. Their salary is $170,000 a year average. So in 2 years, they will get $350,000. And average spending for election, each seat, average cost to win a seat is $1.5 million. So who will pay the money? Obviously, from the election date, this next day, they come, they keep their door open, so the large money comes and pays. But if these young generations stand together, that large money will not work. That's how I raised my case. Thank you very much for your attention. Now you can have anything. Yeah.
Okay, so let us open the floor for question and answer for, let's say, another 15 or so minutes. We'll have a hard close at 1:45. Please forgive me for that. But please unmute yourself and ask question one at a time. Thank you. Go ahead, Tohid bhai, Khoka bhai. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hares Sayed, thank you. Nice presentation, your research analysis. So I think I consider food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, and education being the basic rights for a human being. But I also understand that in the American mindset, I'm going to some root causes. Then my question would be, where do you think is the root problem is?
Please be concise. Please be concise.
Okay. So my question is, if I ask you after this presentation, are you advocating a socialized education? But can you answer my question in terms of the American mindset, where Americans, they hate to pay taxes, okay? Even as an immigrant like me, I hate to pay taxes, okay? And at the same time, they are always anti-government. It's like government is taking away things from me. And your solution, I think at some point, they might call it a socialized education. And my question to you is that where do you think is the root cause of this whole education problem?
Yeah, very, very wonderful questions. In American politics nowadays, anything you do, the question will come, are you socializing? That Mr. Trump says that, he is socializing the healthcare like that. Yes, socializing or not, there are some basic needs of the people. The state must responsible for those, which is called mandatory obligation of the government.
mandatory obligation is based on a couple of things. One is that your future well-being of the nation. Future well-being of the nation. In the United States, our budget is also set by 3 categories. So one is the mandatory obligation. Mandatory obligation, we are spending money to run the government. And to run the government, we are, and also to pay the money for social security scheduler, because they got big money from them. A big chunk of revenues coming from the social security taxes and employment taxes. American public individual income tax, now they used to pay 49% of the total revenue, now they are paying 50%. And corporate America, they were paying about 11% of the income taxes from their income, now they are paying only 7%. Now, my question is coming from, answer is coming from that aspect. I need this country grow. To grow the country, you need a healthy young generation, your workforce, future workforce. If you do not have food in your stomach, if you do not have a shelter to live in, if you do not have money to take care of your health, you cannot contribute. So this is the main thing. This is where I distinguish between the capitalism versus socialism, as you are well aware of that country. Only that things the difference was that democracy, that they did not allow you to express your opinion what states say you do. But when you are talking about education, these people who are cheating money, if I take out money from them, you will treat me as a socialist. Obama, who said that these craps who are taking money, I would not give any money to the private institution for education, my money, taxpayers' money. There are a lot of colleges and universities. They did not give any degree. They took out money. President tried to control those things. And that is why he came up with the Gainful Employment Act. Was it treated as socialist? No, it is not socializing education. Or whatever you say, maybe you say socialization, nothing problem. Coming is that your result, it should be result driven. That your next generation should be superior than you. Now what we see, your retirement comfort will be much better than the future generation. It cannot happen. So to be a better in this world, competitive world, you need to be very, what is called the best among the best. And if your students are not best among the best, how you will compete with others? We are falling behind other countries already. It is based on the OECD report, as I showed in the graph, in the slide. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The status of Finland's high school graduates and US college graduates, their college graduates, average college graduates, are doing little bit better than the high school graduate of Finland. How you take that? They do not pay any tuition in the college, public colleges. So it is not socialized.
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Is that answer his your question?
Yes, Hares bhai, thank you. But your comment on the competence of students versus providing them equal opportunity to have the education is probably later topic, but we'll discuss it later.
Thank you. That can be discussed. I put in the book that one also. Yeah. But here is the time limitation. Still, I took a lot of time. Next question, if any.
Please unmute yourself and ask question, whoever. And if any younger generation present, I would love to hear from them, what they think, especially those who are encumbered with a lot of student loan.
I have one in the next room, but he is like more interested in BLM, and he is in the green movement, other stuff. He's not coming to this
Yeah, my son has a lot of student loans she's still paying back. So, and he doesn't want to talk about it. So
You know,
it's
the
little bit
people
sentiment
about
there.
one wonderful thing is that there are student loan borrowers whose age is above 70. They could not finish it. It's not that.
So this Mizan, I mean, I'd like to propose this one again, that maybe in the future, we can have this session again with the presence of all these newcomers or like, the young guys, and ask them that what they're thinking about these the prospects or, the details.
Yeah, sure.
Only comment is if you can get them together.
Yeah.
Yes, that is difficult, but I think it's not impossible.
It can be done. Can be done.
I had a question.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have already covered since I kind of stepped out for a moment. It was, this is not a recent thing, but some time ago, it was a commonly understood fact that a lot of people who, even though they can pay off the student loans, they wouldn't pay because that was one of the cheaper sources of money. So in other words, even if you're a doctor or, making a lot of money and so on, it was in your interest to pay the minimum and keep going, again, because of the small interest rate and so on. So I'm wondering how much of that, when you look at the tuition debt burden, how much of that would include this willful, just carrying the loan, even though it's not a burden for them?
Oh, very, very good question. Even I was discussing this issue with a senior member of our community. He was supposed to be joining. I don't know why he did not. So he said that his children, they have the student loan and they have good job because, educated guy, he put their children in the right place, in the right major. And they said, Daddy, we are paying our student loans. Should we pay off? He said, no, don't pay off the loan because this loan is cheaper. So invest in somewhere place, the return will be much higher. So this is, but on the national scale, you will not get any statistics because there is no law which will allow you to pay off your debt immediately when you have this much amount. And it will not happen until and unless you give the tax exemption for those that you paid the student loan, your tax is gone for that.
Okay, let us move on to the next question for the sake of giving the floor to others.
Anis Bhai, if you excuse me, I got one from younger generation and for whom we spend money for college. So if you give him a minute, he wants to say something. Go ahead.
Please.
That's
Go. Say something. Say salam.
Hi, what is that? Assalamu alaikum. What is the question?
Salam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine.
You have any question about student loan? Ask quickly.
No, you have a question, right? You're asking people to answer.
If you have
Is
a
that
comment,
how this
just
works?
make it. They'll give you a minute.
Oh, well, the only thing I have to say about student loans is that they shouldn't exist. All student loan debt should be canceled. The banks who hold that student loan debt shouldn't expect to get paid back. And I mean, all public colleges and universities should be tuition free. Nobody should have to pay for it. And
Wonderful thing.
that's all.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank
you for your comment.
Let me tell you one thing before you go. The tax, it is coming from the taxpayers' money, and money is making by the third party. And you students are paying the interest and the paying back the money because you cannot even go for a bankruptcy for the student loan.
Right.
But there are.
So let's move on.
There are these young guys.
Sorry, Hares Bhai. Maybe some of other parents have questions. So how about Rehana Parvinapa? You have any comment or question? Very quickly.
I just have a comment. Thank you, Hares Bhai, for covering this. My son actually is 32 and he's gone through all that. I didn't put a student loan for him. So thank God that I didn't have to go through that, but I did hear from others who have been really swamped by, student loan and like years, and they're not even going anywhere with it. So the interest rate for student loans, there shouldn't be any interest rate. The younger person said shouldn't be any loans.
Right.
Well, sometimes, even if there's loans, shouldn't be any interest. So I thank you, and I did enjoy,
You are
listening
welcome.
to and looking at the slides.
Does
Thank you.
Nasrin Chaudhary Appa have any comment? Okay, if not, then I think for the sake of time, we have only four minutes left of 1:45. If anyone wants to take one more minute, please do so quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me, Hares bhai?
Go ahead.
Yes. I have a quick question about the quality of our education, and also the tuition fee, keep going up tremendously. And there's no oversight committee from the government level, like who kind of monitoring the quality of our education comparing to other countries, and also the tuition hike. I mean, every entity in this country is being monitored and controlled. Like they want to break up Google now. So there's no, I mean, there should be at federal level, there should be an organization or watchdog who are monitoring these things and kind of controlling.
So before Hares bhai answers, let me tell you just one key phrase. The key phrase in the educational world is that if you think, quote, if you think education is so expensive, try ignorance, right, unquote. So go ahead, Hares bhai.
All right. So that was.
Yeah, the answer is that yes, there is various groups. Not only that, in the government, Department of Education has their own body who keep an eye on students' quality of education and their performance, and the tuitions rate and high, but they are very weak. It is not being properly funded, I should say, to work as a watchdog. And the private college associations, they are very much powerful, as I mentioned. Even during the President Obama's administration, this private college association had 12 meetings with the White House, and the student group only had one.
Okay, so we have one more question from Hafizur Rahman Bhai, which is, he's saying that, and he can, combine all the answers together. Hares bhai can combine. Hafizur Rahman Bhai asked, is quality will be compromised if socialized, if education is socialized and student loan is socialized?
See, as I was answering to Tawheed, previous question, our quality has already been compromised. If you see the OECD report and compare the outcome of the European colleges and American colleges, we are nowhere. We are spending 10-fold than their prices. We have bad job. We have quality of education, and even it is compared against the high schools of Finland, our average college grads. Yes, we have some superior schools, very superior, strong, world-famous educational institution. But question is that they are few. Less than 1% of students can apply there. And others, and they do not pay even tuition, they do not pay because their endowment is so high. Yes, it is not socializing education. And if you say when it's socializing, look at the Europe, how they are doing that. And their quality is better than ours.
So I think we come to the end of today's discussion. It was very lively discussion, and we can't thank enough to our very own Hares Sayed bhai to take the time not only to write the book and publish it, but also share that in person with us. We expected a much bigger and lively discussion, However, as you can see, the coronavirus must give us the chance to move forward in a much bigger audience and in-person meetings. But with that, you know, I think this is a topic that's not gonna go away. We hope to have more discussion on this, particularly if anyone has a suggestion for a speaker or even Hares Bhai next talk. I, for one, have a question that, okay, Europe is doing so good, and so is China and Japan and other Asian countries. However, America happened to be still the land of opportunity in the sense that, you know, Google didn't come from China, or Microsoft or Intel, and that, you know, that kind of stuff. So there must be something in here that we should also bring into consideration to make the equation equitable. And I know it is not a discussion for today, but we hope to take on this in the next time. So with that, I thank you all for the participation. And please stay tuned for our next speaker. Most likely, Shabir Parvez Bhai will talk on the satellite technology in the coming one. We also have a couple more other speakers lined up. So we hope to keep doing this thing while the corona try to stop us in our homes. Thank you all very, very much.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much
Gotcha.
for your participation and attention. It was wonderful. Yes, we can discuss.
Thank you, Hares Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you.
You had lots of effort to do those all research things. It's really, really terrible things, actually.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I think
you,
we
John.
should all thank
I will
Anis
call you.
Rahman. We should all thank Anis Rahman for his efforts, because you know, it's out of the goodness of his heart he is doing all of this. So let's give Anis Rahman a hand, okay? So
it's all my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Anis.
Thank you, Hares Bhai.
One thing I defy that socializing word is political to demean other party or other things. Socializing everywhere in the world. We are providing, we are giving our service to the society. Why should not government emphasize to bring the people in the education to make the quality? Why should we bring the people from other side, other countries to the school? So that's government should pay attention to the students, let them bring in the college, no additional charges, no loan needed. That's it.
See, wonderful thing, but see, think about that, you know, this America's backbone is based on the brain coming from other countries. As Anis Rahman was mentioning about Google and other things, Apple did not come from other countries, but here. Yeah, money came from here. But if you go and look into the back of the side, you will see who are doing that. Those are majority are coming from outside. From 1928 onward, it was already proven, as I put it in my first book, that already proven that America's economy and war power became so strong that whole Europe even cannot tackle that. In 1928, it is going on. And we are lucky we are living in that country. But question is that if we do not take care of my future generation, our position will be lost. Our position will be lost. That is why I wrote that thing. That is why I am talking about social, what is called the national security. That is why I'm talking about national security.
All right, so let's catch up in the next time. You know, please feel free to email with any other questions that you may have for Hares Bhai, which he can respond in person and via email. And of course, we will be publishing this webinar on the AABEA website as well as on YouTube channel, AABEA YouTube channel. So with that, I thank you all, and Khuda Hafiz. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.